OK, you may remember Windsor and Maidenhead Council telling me a few weeks ago of their anger at what they said was the government's failure to reimburse it for the costs of state visits to Windsor Castle. And let's now speak to Matthew Barber. So Thames Valley Police are still waiting for the money they say they're due. Matthew Barber is the Forces Police and Crime Commissioner. Good morning to you, Matthew.
Good morning.
OK, Lynn was owed £350,000. How much were you owed, Matthew?
From the Trump visit alone, we talk about £900,000 for Thames Valley Police. So a vast sum that affects the whole of the force.
There's a huge amount of money. How did you get to that figure?
So that is just the cost of, if you like, the police officer time within TVP. We've already have got a claim for some of the materials that we have to hire in, the additional catering, the vehicles, those sort of additional costs. But the 900,000 is just for our police officer time, which the rules allow other police forces to claim. So when we have mutual aid support for these big events, and we might get officers coming from Hampshire or West Midlands to come and support policing at events in Windsor, those forces can claim the money back, but the host force at the moment can't. And of course, in the normal run of things, that might have come out in the wash, but it's exactly the same problem that the Royal Borough have got, that actually with 3 years of these big state events taking place in Thames Valley, that is a huge cost, a huge burden on the force, and one that fundamentally has an impact on policing across the whole of Thames Valley.
Well, that's not fair, is it? So other forces, they can claim the money that they've had to spend on backfilling those officers sent to Windsor. You can't claim for the extra hours. Am I right in summarising?
That's it, because the host force effectively is expected to cover its own costs. Now, if it was a normal policing event, then that might work, and those are the normal rules that have been in place. But of course, the difference we know about this is a planned set of events that the government control, that are foreseen, because we knew that Buckingham Palace was going to be out of action. We knew that these events were going to be moving to Windsor. So these aren't spontaneous policing events that police just have to deal with. These are things that the government are pushing towards Thames Valley Police to do. And the Metropolitan Police are still getting their full level of funding as a capital city. They get an additional grant as being a police force that covers a capital city. And of course, part of that money is to deal with things like state visits. So the Met are still getting all of the money that they would get as if the events were still happening in London. And Thames Valley Police are being left short. And that is what I think is really unfair.
So just to be clear, there's no sign yet of you might get your money back.
No, I'm hopeful. I'm really pleased for the Royal Borough that they are getting their money back, and I do think that is a sign that there may be some movement for government. But of course, we're dealing with lots of different departments here. The council will be talking to the Department for Local Government. We're dealing with the Home Office. The Foreign Office are really responsible for a lot of these visits. So there are conversations still ongoing. I still haven't had a response from the Home Secretary to my last letter to her on this subject a couple of weeks ago, but I am encouraged by the movement for the Royal Borough, and we will keep up the pressure on the Home Office because it's not fair on local taxpayers in Thames Valley, whether they are in Windsor and Maidenhead themselves, who may see the operational policing sort of taking place in their area, but whether you're in Milton Keynes, Oxfordshire, Buckinghamshire, or just down the road in Windsor, the loss of nearly £1 million to local policing matters to everybody in the long run.
Good to talk to you this morning. Thank you. That's Matthew Barber, who's the Conservative elected Police and Crime Commissioner.